Welcome to the Mini Break, your daily podcast for the big storylines, results, and controversies from the tennis world. Today is Wednesday, July 2nd, day 3 of the 2025 championships at Wimbledon, now officially in the books. It was another day filled with upsets. We saw 6 of our remaining women's seeds knocked out here in round number 2. You saw defending finalist Jasmine Paolini knocked off in 3 sets. Players like Diana Schneider, Beatrice Haddad-Maia, last year's semifinalist Donna Vekic knocked out in straight sets. Chaos. It's been the theme of these first 3 days. It continued into day number 3. Of course, on the men's side, truth be told, we really just don't have that many seeds left competing. That said, certainly was a strong performance by Carlos Alcaraz. He got pushed, no doubt, in sets 2 and 3 by the young upstart friend of the program, Oliver Tarvit, but Alcaraz smoothly sailing, through to round number 3. He, of course, will be joined by Andre Rublev, Taylor Fritz, who continues to be pushed 10 sets over 3 days, yet he finds himself in round number 3. We'll talk about how he got there. We'll break down how the Americans did, the players with college tennis ties. Want to recap anything you might have missed, as of course early round action. It is darn right near impossible to follow everything unless it's your full-time job. I am so grateful it happens to be mine. So again, here on tonight's show, want to break down everything for all of you listeners or all of you fans tuning in live as we are once again broadcasting on YouTube. Appreciate all of you who are joining us. Should you have any questions you'd like us to address on these shows, obviously feel free to send them our way. If you're not watching live, you can send them beforehand at Crack Rackets, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or at Alex Gruskin to be personally on Twitter. Of course, we've also got some other great content out this week across our various Crack Rackets platforms. You can go to the Great Shot Podcast today to hear our long overdue 2025 Men's College Tennis Award Show. Felt fitting to offer that show this week in particular, given all of the success we've seen from players with college tennis ties have in the men's singles draw. That show now available for you on the Great Shot Podcast feed. Go subscribe to that, the Cracked Interviews Podcast, so you don't miss out on any of our content moving forward. Of course, the reason we're able to offer you this show because of the support we get from all of you listeners, and of course because of the support we get from our dear friends over at the Laurel Springs School. To learn more about why they continue to rank amongst the top private online schooling options in the country, go to their website, laurelsprings.com today. Laurel Springs, proud partner of the Mini Break podcast feed. All right, we got a lot to get to here on tonight's show. Again, first half of round 2 play now officially in the books. Yes, there were countless upsets on the day. 8 across the men's and women's draws, of course. That has been a theme that has continued through the first 3 days. Let's actually venture away from that to start today's show. Again, we've talked so much about the upsets thus far. Let's take a different pathway because there are plenty of positives, upsets included, to celebrate from the first 3 days of play. I want to talk about 3 players in particular who emerge from all of the chaos we have seen in the early action with serious opportunities ahead of them now here at Wimbledon. They're 3 players who I would argue are big names, household names, mainstream names in the tennis world, names now who certainly have to look upon the Wimbledon draw and see opportunities for themselves. All 3 of these players, of course, residing in the women's singles draw, all of them earning straight set victories here on day number 3. Let's start with Emma Raducanu, who maybe earned your most impressive victory on the day. Raducanu, a straight set win over 2023 champion Marketa Vondrousova. Of course, Vondrousova was a popular dark horse pick by yours truly as well. I believe on my day 1 recap and in the draw preview, I called her the most dangerous unseeded player in the draw, or the unseeded player every seed would least like to face. Why would you feel that way? Well, it's because she just beat Sabalenka a couple of weeks ago, won a title on the grass in the build-up to this Wimbledon. It was kind of all Raducanu in this match, a 6-3, 6-3 victory for the Brit. She served exceptionally well in this match. I mean, serving, of course, the importance of it amplified on a surface where it is just more difficult to impose physicality. You're not going to have extended 10, 15 shot rallies repeatedly on a grass court. First serves that create opportunities for early offense within the rally. That is the most valuable skill you can have on this surface. And look, Tamara Raducanu's credit, is it the biggest serve? No, but she is such, when she is at her best, an exceptional spot server. And I thought today in particular, the slice wide to set up the +1 forehand into the running Vondrousova forehand, I thought she hit that +1 forehand exceptionally well. I thought she did a really sound job moving forward. It says only 7 of 12 at the net, but was constantly creeping forward. And more than anything, I don't have the IBM shot tracking data available for you, but it felt like she was the one inside the baseline. She was the one controlling the tempo of play. She was the one who had Vondrousova so frequently on the stretch. I mean, again, 18 winners against 21 unforced errors against someone who extends rallies as well as Marketa Vondrousova does. She was forced to do that repeatedly. She was constantly on the back foot, and there were times when she came up with some magic, no doubt about it. But, Marketa Vondrousova made 70% of her first serves in this match. She won 37 of 73, so just over 50% of her service points. That was it, and it really did start for Raducanu on that return of serve. And certainly when you imagine back, for those of you fans who are capable of doing so, to that 2021 U.S. Open, and when I say capable, I mean a lot of you have busier brains, so maybe that's not on the top of your mind. You think about a Raducanu who was inside the baseline, who was taking that return of serve so early, whose contact point seemed so pure, so fluid, so simple, that line drive tennis she was able to play, it felt so replicable as well. You saw shades of that, no doubt, on the return of serve for Raducanu today. And again, a comfortable 6-3, 6-3 victory to set up a blockbuster. And this is when I talk about big names with a big opportunity here. Emma Raducanu has always been a prime time performer, and certainly, this is still just her 5th round of 32 at the majors in her career. 3rd time for what it's worth. She's done it at her home slam here at Wimbledon. She's 2-0 in this round. She beat Maria Sakkari in this round last season in straight sets. Little bit of a different beast coming up. Obviously, she's going to face top seed Aryna Sabalenka, and Aryna Sabalenka, who's made the finals of the last 3 slams, and Aryna Sabalenka, who's made the quarterfinals of the last 10 slams, semifinals of 9 of her last 10. Obviously, Aryna Sabalenka is the best player in the world, and she's able to generate pace in a way that is particularly built to disrupt an Emma Raducanu who wants to take your pace and absorb it and redirect it, but it's hard to do that against the elite pace that Sabalenka throws at you. Every second serve that sits short, Vondrousova tried to get Raducanu stretched. Sabalenka's just going to go through Raducanu, and you do feel like Raducanu, when she's pressured by pace, even if it's down the center, she is more likely to leave that ball short. You do that, just the pace of Sabalenka, she's going to make you pay that much more thoroughly. Still, it's been a good round, a sound 52-week stretch. Raducanu 25-16 now overall over her last 52 weeks. You look for her and the success that she's had here this season in particular. 18-13 overall. She made 3rd round Aussie, 2nd round Roland Garros, but ran into Swiatek round number 2. Nothing you can do there. Obviously, the 3rd round loss to Swiatek Australian Open as well. Now she's got Sabalenka 3rd round. I mean, again, you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. It's a massive opportunity on home soil, a match that is guaranteed to be on center court. Sabalenka versus Raducanu, and Raducanu is playing well, and this surface has always suited her well. You look for Emma Raducanu in her career on this surface. Raducanu, 18-13 overall. It's not as, again, for someone who has dealt with so many different injuries, and at 22 years old, you feel like has been robbed of what should have been a really fun 4-year run since winning that U.S. Open title in 2021. She's played 31 grass court matches. That's right around the number that Iga has played. Maybe a little bit less, truth be told, but it's because she's had significant successes on this surface before. Round of 16, 2021 Wimbledon was her actual breakthrough moment before, obviously, the U.S. Open later that summer. She's made semifinals in Nottingham, quarterfinals in Queen's Club. Obviously, round of 16 Wimbledon just last season. It's because she plays aggressive, line drive, front foot, inside the baseline tennis. And the quick tempo that she plays with and the court positioning more than anything is rewarded on this surface. Sneaky quick on this surface as well, Emma Raducanu. Has always been sneaky quick, just keeps it inside the baseline as opposed to maybe playing extensive defensive tennis and showing off that speed. It's a massive opportunity against the world number one. Obviously, Sabalenka's earned a couple of straight set victories. Was not at her best today in a victory over Bouzkova. Just looking up the numbers here real quick. Aryna Sabalenka today. It wasn't the double faults. It said 41 winners against just 18 unforced errors, but Bouzkova really just couldn't create anything with any sort of ease against Sabalenka, and yet Sabalenka only breaking serve twice in that match felt shocking, truth be told, because there were just so many early rally errors. If Raducanu returns as well as she did today, and you have to against the world number one, she's going to be in the fight. She's a big match performer. You look for Emma Raducanu in her career against top 10 opponents overall. Emma Raducanu going into this one, a career 3-12. Last victory came against Navarro this year in Miami. Does have the one win at a slam over Maria Sakkari, last year's Wimbledon. I mean, again, speaks to the fact she didn't have to face a single top 10 player on her way to that U.S. Open title. That's a discussion we can save for a different time. But certainly, again, Emma Raducanu's playing some good ball. She's got a massive opportunity ahead. Straight set victory today over Marketa Vondrousova to advance to that round 3 blockbuster against Aryna Sabalenka. Of course, the other names, big opportunities. She was my pre-tournament prediction to reach the semifinals, certainly with both 4th-seeded Jasmine Paolini and 5th-seeded Zheng Qinwen falling in her quarter. I think 13th-seeded Amanda Anisimova, and by the way, with Goff and Pegula eliminated now as well, she's not only the favorite to advance out of this quarter, she's the favorite to be the last American woman standing. And you look for Amanda Anisimova, who was up big. I think it was 5-2 early in set number 1, maybe even 5 number 1 before she gave a late break back. Ultimately, Anisimova grabbing still a comfortable straight set victory, 6-4, 6-3. Again, she didn't serve particularly well here today, and again, under 60%, 54%, 9 double faults on the match as well. That allowed Zarazua to take some needed big cuts on the return of serve. But when Amanda Anisimova was on her front foot, 30 of 37 on first serve points today. 25 winners to Zarazua's 6. An efficient 9 of 17 at the net as well when she had to clean up easy first volleys. That's not particularly efficient. But Amanda Anisimova's just weight of shot. This is the best version of the 23-year-old. And certainly you look for Amanda Anisimova, who with all of the upsets around her, she's now up to a new career high 10th in the live rankings. She's 10th in the points race as well. This is also going to be her 10th third round at a major in her career. It's the second time in her career she will have reached the Wimbledon third round. Did it also in 2022. I would point out still, Amanda Anisimova, just 2 quarterfinals in her career at the majors. One of them, of course, came at this event back in 2022. 23 years old, obviously injuries, off court, etc. There's a lot of reasons why there are only 2 quarterfinals to her name. She is too good of a tennis player, and her game style too fitting for this surface, for that number to stay that low. If she can stay this healthy, this fit, moving forward, I think you look at this section of the draw again for Amanda Anisimova. Yes, there are still dangerous players looming within it. Obviously, you've got a player in this quarter of the draw in she is the highest seed remaining. She's only got 2 other seeds remaining in this section, or 2 seeds remaining. It's her, it's Linda Noskova. I mean, again, Pavlyuchenkova and Osaka, I guess they kind of have experience, but I'll talk about Naomi Osaka in a second, and it really hasn't happened at Wimbledon that frequently for her. This is the moment. This is the opportunity. The draw has broken perfectly for the 23-year-old American. And talk about, again, a big name, someone who as a teenager reached her first semifinal at the French Open back in 2019. There is a runway for her to reach a second career semifinal at the majors. And the draw could not have broken better for her, particularly also given all the points she has to defend in Canada immediately coming up. The runway is there for Amanda Anisimova to take a top 10 spot. And again, should she stay healthy, I see no reason why she can't stay in that top 10 for the next half decade. She's always played with that sort of upside. Again, what's Amanda Anisimova's record this season against opponents ranked outside the top 20? Because obviously the rest of the way she's not going to have a top 20 opponent. She's 27-12 overall this season. Amanda Anisimova 22-10 against opponents ranked outside of the top 20. And again, not a single top 20 player remaining in her quarter of the draw. Massive opportunity. This is the one, if you're an Anisimova fan, you've been waiting for. It's an opportunity ahead, certainly, for the young American. We'll see how she does with this draw the rest of the way. And then last but not least, in this section as well, how about Naomi Osaka? A little bit of a gift from the tennis gods with her facing a Katerina Siniakova, whose match was pushed, her first round match, pushed to yesterday against 5th-seeded Zheng Qinwen, so had to play back-to-back days. 3-2 victory for Naomi Osaka. She was dominant on serve throughout the course of this match. You look for Osaka, who faced, just 4 break points in this match, was broken just once. She won 74% of her first serve points. She lost, just 16 points on serve overall. I mean, she only hit 12 winners in this match. Siniakova hit 37 unforced errors and gave her plenty of freebies throughout the course of this one, but the reason she felt the pressure to do so, to change direction so frequently, is because anything she was sitting short, Osaka was attacking. And look, it wasn't always the prettiest tennis in this one. There were a plethora of unforced errors off both sides. Part of that is because both these players are aggressive. Both of them look for the +1. Both of them look to end points quickly. I think Naomi Osaka's moving pretty well on this surface. She looks fit, and certainly you look for a Naomi Osaka who in her career at the majors has made now her 19th round 3. This is her first round 3 at Wimbledon since 2018. Just the third time in her career she has made round 3 at Wimbledon. She has never reached the second week of this major. 27 years old, turns 28 in October. I mean, look, obviously there's been a bunch of different reasons why Naomi Osaka hasn't had an extended 3-year run the way a Sabalenka has, the way even a Swiatek already has in her career. We don't have to litigate all those things now. You talk about opportunity for Naomi Osaka to face an Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, who has been better historically in her career at Wimbledon at this event, or at this event in particular, I suppose, than Osaka. But again, you're playing the 34-year-old in round 3, current world number 44. As terms of how draws go, that's about as well as it could have broken. She gets there relatively untested as well. Again, when's the last time we saw Naomi Osaka reach round 4 of a major? The last time we saw a 2021 Australian Open, which, if memory serves me correct, is an event she won. That's the last time we saw her reach the second week of a major. Again, it's the first time in 7 years we've seen her reach round 3 of Wimbledon. I don't think I have to sell you on Naomi Osaka being a big name. I have the biography behind me of her from our dear friend Ben Rothenberg. This is as big as opportunity comes because, again, looking at the rest of this quarter of the draw, she gets through this match, it's Sunny Cartel or Dion Perry, and Osaka served into the Dion Perry backhand on this surface in particular. It's a good opportunity if that's the matchup as it unfolds. After that, again, you would be facing an Anisimova who, yeah, that's a tricky quarterfinal opponent, no doubt, if things hold seed, or Linda Noskova, a tricky quarterfinal opponent with the pace they can both play with. But in terms of big match pedigree, advantage Naomi. And now all of a sudden, again, she's into her second week at Wimbledon, and she's gaining steam heading into a portion of the calendar that suits her best. Massive opportunities ahead for these 3 players who, again, if you play out the last 5 years 100 times, we are in, certainly, I think, at least 50% of the outcomes turn out better from a tennis result perspective than they have for Naomi Osaka. Raducanu won her major. Does that happen in 50% of the outcomes? I don't know. But probably we're right around 75. She did win a major. The rest doesn't really matter. Anisimova, were definitely 50% of the outcomes would be better. She may have a major title to her name given the openness of the 2019 to 2023 range had everything broken right for her. All of them are still in their 20s. All of them, in the case of Anisimova, Raducanu, both of them are 23 and under. It's a massive opportunity to get back on the course we know all of these players are capable of being on. Again, you got to look for the silver linings. Yes, we've seen some upsets, but certainly on the women's side, there are still plenty of marquee names in particular. Again, Osaka, Raducanu, Anisimova, who've got the chance to make a real run for themselves. And become significant actors in whatever turns into week 2 of this 2025 Wimbledon. So big names, big opportunities. That's my number one headline as we emerge out of day number 3, of course. It's hard to ignore all the seeds who tumbled, though, across the day as well. And again, as I mentioned on the women's side, 6 different seeds falling, certainly the most shocking of the bunch. 4th-seeded Jasmine Paolini, who grabbed the opening set 6-4 before getting knocked out 4-6, 6-4, 6-4 by the 23-year-old Kamila Rakimova. Of course, for Rakimova, no doubt about it, biggest victory of her career. You look for Rakimova, who prior to this, against top 50 opponents, let alone the top 20, was 9-28 against the top 20. She was 1-9 against the top 10. She was 0-7. It's a massive moment for her. Obviously, her first top 10 victory of her career at the majors. You look for her in terms of round 3. She's reached at the majors thus far in her career. Again, just 25 years old. But in terms of success at the majors, this will be her second career round 3. Her first coming at Roland Garros back in 2023. It's a massive moment, and you saw seedlings of it from Rakimova, whether it be the quarterfinal she reached in Eastbourne, qualifying into the main draw there. She qualified into the main draw in Nottingham as well. Again, for Rakimova, who was 80 in the world to start this event, you have this sort of success. Reach round 3, Rakimova going to move up in the live rankings. Where is she up to now? Rakimova is currently up to 65. Nice little 15-spot leap. I mean, look, for Paolini, it was a tough day at the office. There's no doubt about it. Stats certainly indicating as much. Jasmine Paolini in this match, 40 unforced errors against just 23 winners, 2 of 7 on her breakpoint chances. Rakimova double faulted 9 times in this match. She won just 14 of 36 points on the second serve, and yet they're just too many early errors from Jasmine Paolini, in particular the forehand wing. I thought was the one that betrayed her here today. And look, I mean, again, Paolini currently sitting at 8 in the live rankings despite losing all of those finals points. She's certainly currently sitting at 7th in the points race. And yeah, there are some players who can catch her if they reach second weeks and have some success there moving forward at Wimbledon. But I'm not hitting the panic button. As I alluded to before the tournament, when we talked about our most interesting players, I thought Paolini was high on that list because her settling in at about 7-8 in the world, where 7 through 12, which is where this result will put her, that feels about right. Like, that is who Jasmine Paolini has been. Quarterfinals at a bunch of big events. Obviously, she won a 1,000 level title on the clay here this season as well. This one was disappointing because this one was on her racket. Rakimova, Rakimova didn't play poorly, but she wasn't doing anything particularly exceptional or didn't have a particular tool in her arsenal to disrupt the rhythm of Jasmine Paolini. Jasmine Paolini, who was teeing off on second serve returns, it was just sloppy. More than anything, I thought a sloppy performance from the number 4 seed. And again, that's been the theme of this Wimbledon. If a seed plays sloppily, they're going to have to pay for it. Another upset on the board. 4 of your top 5 seeds. 4 of your top 5 seeds knocked out by the end of round number 2. Of course, Sabalenka, the last top seed, 5 seed alive, she's already through. That's just the second time in the Open era this has happened after the 2018 Wimbledon. 4 of your top 5 seeds. In a year where, again, to be the best, you have had to beat the best. Keys had to beat Sabalenka. She had to beat Swiatek. She had to beat Rybakina. She had to beat Svitolina. Andreeva had to do the same thing at Indian Wells. Sabalenka won Miami. You know, again, Ostapenko had a really similar draw in Stuttgart. Obviously, Sabalenka win. Like, it's fascinating. It really is fascinating that we were due. I don't know why we didn't see this one coming. This is what Wimbledon always offers. We were due. Again, Paolini knocked out. Tough result for Diana Schneider. A great result for Dion Perry in the Battle of the Dies. Dion Perry back into the top 100. The 22-year-old former top 5 junior in the world, who, of course, has been ranked as high as 48 in the world. Up 24 spots in reaching round 3 here at Wimbledon, up to 94. She's really good at what she's good at. And for that, it's, again, her service spots, her cutter wide on the deuce side. She can play the kick serve wide to open up the +1 forehand. Her backhand slice knifes through this court. She is as comfortable moving forward as any player you will see in the women's game, and so sound with the touch. Obviously, that comes with the backhand slice. Dion Perry just kind of took it to Diana Schneider, and I really thought Schneider's lefty slice serve and just high and heavy ball. Look, on a different surface, it would have paid dividends. On a hard court, I still think I'm picking Diane Schneider in this match, but Perry's ability to pressure Schneider, and again, nothing was clean for Diana Schneider. Every backhand slice she played, Perry had something clever to throw at her. The little chips, the little short angles that she could find. She just had Diana Schneider in the most uncomfortable positions possible. It's a really good win for Dionne Perry. Again, keeps her in the top one, or gets her back, I should say, into the top 100. Into round number 3, she goes with the win over Schneider. How about Dalma Golfi? I feel like Golfi does this once a year. Golfi, former world junior number 1, 6-1 over the 21st seeded Haddad Maia. Tough loss for last year's semifinalist Donna Vekic. Vekic knocked out 1-3 by Kristina Buxa. You look for Donna Vekic again, losing all those semifinal points. She will fall 25 spots. She's currently sitting at 50 in the live rankings, and there are players who can catch her with victories here in round number 2, let alone round number 3. Tough spot for Donna Vekic. Again, should sneak into main draws, but she's no longer going to be seeded as she has been for the last year now. It's just, again, life becomes a little bit tougher for the recently turned 29-year-old. So, again, huge win for Kristina Buxa. Not trying to take anything away from the Spaniard, who I always enjoy, because moves pretty well, the 27-year-old. She's back into the top 100, up to number 90, but it's a tough loss. Tough loss, no doubt about it, for Donna Vekic. Great win for Laura Siegemund, the German veteran. 2-3, knocks out the 29th seeded Leylah Fernandez. I have done enough talking about the 22-year-old Fernandez on this podcast at this point, so I'm not gonna pile on after the loss here today. But look, Siegemund should thrive on this surface with her attacking tennis. We all know the doubles resume, elite at it. Gets forward, will play the slice, will look to just pressure you, but Fernandez's serve was just a liability in this match in a way it cannot be for her to compete at an elite level moving forward. And then last, the vet, Pavlyuchenkova, I mentioned it. Veterans Guile. This was a fun match. It was competitive throughout. Pavlyuchenkova 7-6, 6-4. She knocks off the young American Ashlyn Kruger. Kruger still very much needs to find her legs on this surface from a movement perspective. Her pace should work eventually, but a little bit of a fish out of water still. 6 more seeds eliminated on the women's side. 16 seeds knocked out overall on the women's side through a round and a half of play. It's going to lead to some fascinating tennis, some fascinating matchups moving forward. I've already lost a semifinalist in Pegula. I lost another semifinalist on the men's side in Medvedev, and plenty, I'm sure, of quarterfinalists as well. Still have my finalists. Sinner versus Alcaraz, that one was easy. Sabalenka, Swiatek. Of course, it's going to happen at this Wimbledon. That's just the tennis gods teasing us and making it this surface and not a surface where their physicality would thrive through the most. But 6 upsets. Things are opening up. That's certainly one of our biggest themes thus far as seeds continue to tumble on the women's side. They're tumbling on the men's side as well, and that leads me to my third topic of, so who's the favorite in the bottom half of the men's singles draw outside of Carlos Alcaraz? And let's be clear, Carlos Alcaraz, again, typical Carlos Alcaraz, 1-4-4. 1-4-4, excuse me. I don't know why I said 1-4-4. 6-1, 6-4, 6-4. He knocks out Ali Tarvit. Tarvit did get that early break lead to start that second set. I started dreaming. Certainly his energy, his enthusiasm. You saw how positively he was received by Alcaraz after the match, how thoroughly Alcaraz praised him, how you're not going to do that for the home crowd player. Ali Tarvit can move, man. And it's, again, generating pace, particularly on that backhand wing. Instinctually, that's not his game yet. He is such an athlete, so fluid as a mover. You saw that even on the grass courts as you track down some of the bazookas Alcaraz threw at him, all the drop shots, the creativity. Ali was prepared. He could gun the forehand at times, but you heard the additional grunt when he does gun that forehand. Has to work for it. The backhand is extraordinarily steady, generates good depth, but again, good depth, not good enough against Carlos Alcaraz. Obviously, the serve can be a weapon, but becoming more consistent with it is the conundrum every young player faces. There's a lot to like about Ali Tarvit. Certainly, he competed his tail off here today. Did not feel like the moment was too big for him. But Carlos Alcaraz was too good for him. Carlos Alcaraz is that much more explosive. Obviously, Carlos Alcaraz has extraordinarily defined weapons, and after the 5-set poor performance against Fognini in round number 1, he thoroughly righted the ship. He is the unequivocal favorite, not only to make the finals, but to win the title as well. And you don't believe me? Let's listen to Tennis Abstract. The singles forecast has him as a 58.7% favorite to win the title. let's keep in mind, Sinner and Djokovic are still in this draw. 58.7. They say let's give Alcaraz the crown now. He's a 78.4% favorite to reach the final. Who else is the favorite? I mean, you probably have to say Taylor Fritz, right? Fritz, who was just dealt. We projected it in the draw preview. Everyone. When I say we, I mean all of us as tennis fans, as a community, because we think as a community we're a hive mind. We're all connected. We all speak the same language. You all tuning in know what I'm saying. 5 sets against Giovanni and Pesci Pericard. To have that match carry over 2 days just adds to the difficulty of maintaining your preparation, recovery, etc. Push today, 5 sets again as Gab Diallo forces that 5th set. But again, in the end, it's a credit to Taylor Fritz. Grinds his way through 3-6, 6-3, 7-6, 4-6, 6-3. Gab's the real deal, man. And after picking up his first grass court title, Diallo's going to end this grass court season a new career high. The 23-year-old currently sitting at 38 in the live rankings. It's all upside for the 23-year-old moving forward. His serve, how much better, or how much more instinctual he has gotten in pressing forward. He has always been a comfortable volleyer, but now he really knifes them with the additional repetitions. I mean, again, he has always had the fluid ground stroke technique. Yeah, the forehand backswing can be a little big, but he's so sound on the backhand wing, can gun off both wings. He is going to be a monster, I think, throughout the course of this North American hardcourt stretch. I would expect him to continue his momentum into Canada. I hope we get to see him in D.C. as well. But look, I mean, again, it wasn't quite consistent enough with that first volley down the home stretch against a Fritz who's going to put the return at your feet, who's going to make you earn it. And again, for Taylor Fritz to get through another 5-set match, he was broken 3 times in this one. Both guys earning 3 breaks. Fritz 9 of 13 at the match. Only Taylor Fritz with his serve could still just hit 13 volleys in this, and that's because he wanted to play more patiently. Obviously, you look for a guy in Diallo who was 37 of 57 at the net. The biggest issue for him was when he didn't land that first serve, and he landed 74% of them. He hit 26 aces. Fritz hit 27. He won 77% of his first serve points. Problem is he went 13 of 42 on the second serve, and that's, again, a testament to if you give Taylor a clean look on the return, he's either going to make you hit an uncomfortable volley that you'll pop up at your toes, or he's going to just straight up pass you, pressure your next ball, and get in behind it with some sort of pace. Get in behind it, meaning tactically, not physically, as you can tell with the 13 points at the net. The big number, again, the 2 big numbers, the biggest is Diallo 13 of 42 on second serve points. The other one is the unforced error count. Diallo 50 unforced errors to Fritz's 16. Fritz let this match come to him. He made a bet that I can sustain my big serving, my +1 game longer than you can sustain your relentless serve and volley play. That wager was proven correct. Now, in the future, that pendulum might swing more towards Diallo as he continues to become more dynamic with his second serve, becomes better as a spot server with that serve because he can already mix up the spots and paces with the first. It was a good push for Gab Diallo, a massive step forward here this month, and it just positions him to be a monster on this surface moving forward as he continues to fill out the rest of, as he continues to just become more comfortable with more repetitions, I should say. But for Taylor Fritz, 10 sets he earned it this third round. It's his first third round at the majors this season. Obviously, Fritz was 18th in the points race prior to his Eastbourne title. Fritz now back up to 13th in the points race, and he's within 200 points of 8th place Tommy Paul, and just looming now, once again, looming in that tour finals race. He was the guy with maybe the most pressure, in my opinion, on the men's side to come in and have a big Wimbledon, and certainly with all the seeds crumbling, he could have. 2 5th sets, he gets through in both. So he's the favorite, no doubt. He's the 5 seed. Of course, he was probably the favorite even with Zverev being the 3 seed, even with Medvedev's presence in this draw. But just a reminder, this bottom half of the draw now, there are 3 seeds remaining. Fritz, that's not true. 4 seeds remaining. And Davidovich-Fokina is up 2-1. Or is it 2-1 or 2-love? And he's just not done yet. Davidovich-Fokina is up 2-1. It's 5-all in that 4th set on Van de Sandschulp. So there might be a 4th seed through. But right now, your only seeds remaining in the bottom half of the draw, and there are 4 of them. Alcaraz, Fritz, Andrei Rublev, who earns another 4-set victory, this one over Lloyd Harris. I don't think Rublev played particularly inspiring tennis, but was good enough to get through, found enough returns, just was more dynamic than a Lloyd Harris, who really is a one-trick pony, even more so than Rublev. Alcaraz, Fritz, Rublev Khachanov, who, by the way, needed 5 sets today to survive against the always tricky former junior Wimbledon champion, or was he champion or finalist? Maybe a finalist and lost to Opelka, Shintaro Machizuki. Look, again, Rublev is in Alcaraz's quarter of the draw, in his immediate section of the draw. That's a potential round of 16 for Andrei Rublev. It's a tough hurdle for him to climb, so you probably knock him off of the list. I guess Felix Auger-Aliassime still alive, 1 set apiece between him and Jan-Lennard Struff as well. Who's the biggest threat to Alcaraz? It's obviously Taylor Fritz. Is anyone else a threat at this point, or are we ready just to anoint Carlos Alcaraz on his pathway to the finals? Certainly Tennis Abstract's ready to do that. I'm sure a lot of us were willing to do that even before this tournament began. Fritz gets through this. Let's say it does hold seed. Davidovich-Fokina is next. That's such a difficult first week for Taylor Fritz to go 5 sets GMP, 5 sets Diallo, the always frisky and uber athletic Davidovich-Fokina. After that would be a reprieve. Honestly, his next 2 matches would be more of a reprieve than what he got in the first 3 before the Alcaraz gauntlet. That would be the semifinal. Are we just destined for Alcaraz Fritz? Are we all ready to go there already? It's hard not to. Like, all due respect to Cam Norrie, who I thought was really good today against Tiafoe, pulls off the upset. Really impressive 4-set for the former TCU All-American, and obviously Cam Norrie, I don't need to tell you guys, the former top 10 player in the world for Norrie in reaching out round number 3. He had dropped in the rankings, but now going to hold firm at 61 and keep himself just in the mix for all the big things. And again, the draw has thoroughly opened up for Cam Norrie, as next up he'll face a Mattia Bellucci, who I don't believe had ever reached a 3rd round at a major prior to this, and the 24-year-old up 10 spots to a new career high 63 in the rankings still as 3rd round opponents go. Give me the guy who's new to the surface, playing 63 in the world. Fonseca looming. God, it's Fonseca versus Nicolas Jarry. Are we going to get a week 2 Fonseca already? Is that going to be the saving grace for the upsets we have seen on the men's side? It's like the saving grace of all of it, and what saves week 2, even with the absence of so many top players, is if Fonseca gets to week 2, would have to beat Jarry, then the Bellucci-Norrie winner, and then you'd get an Alcaraz-Fonseca quarterfinal. Yeah, forget the seeds. We would all be plenty. If 2 of your quarterfinals are Fonseca and Alcaraz and Draper versus Djokovic, then nothing else will matter, because that ticket and that day's TV ratings will paper over everything else Wimbledon might have needed papered over with all of these upsets transpiring. Fonseca looming here actually does save the section, because that's a storyline that just picks up mainstream excitement. Like, just a glimpse of the future. You liked Sinner Alcaraz? Well, here's the Kirkland brand version with Sinner versus Fonseca as a teenager, and to get it so early in their careers. Anyways, all right, I'm talking myself back into it. Bottom half of the draw. It's going to be fascinating. Again, 2 more upsets today. Norrie, the 4-set win, over Francis Tiafoe. Mattia Bellucci, straight sets over a guy in Yuri Lechechka, who I actually thought might emerge from this section and reach the quarterfinals. Big win for Bellucci. Again, biggest of his career to date, certainly at the majors. Norrie, Bellucci pulling off the upsets. It's getting funky in that bottom half of the draw, certainly. And again, just to run you through where things stand upset-wise, matches that have gone the distance. You look on the women's side now, 16 seeds eliminated so far. Paulini, Schneider, Haddad Maia, Vekic, Fernandez, Kruger, all knocked out today. I believe these 16, I thought I saw it. I don't want to speak out of turn, so I don't want to give you a false stat, but that is a significant amount. I believe I had saw someone tweet out that there was the most that we'd ever had at the majors. I haven't seen that tweet followed up by OptaAce, who's my authority thus far, so we'll let that slide. I guess we still got to let the second half of round 2 finish before we can sort of make that conclusion, so we'll have an update on that stat for you all tomorrow. But again, only one top 5 player will make the 3rd round. It's the second time in the Open era it's ever happened after the 2018 Wimbledon. Classy chaos. That's what this tournament serves up, and certainly it has served it up once again here, as we've seen 5 top 10 seeds eliminated and 16 seeds eliminated overall. The women's singles draw through the first 3 days of play. On the men's side, it was calmer, but again, how many seeds are left standing? You lost 7 of them. 7 of the 16 on day number 1. You lose 2 more today. Again, Norrie, 4 sets over Tiafoe. Bellucci, straight sets over Lechechka. Big picture, the gap between Sinner, Alcaraz, not in that order, Alcaraz, Sinner, and of course Djokovic, you give a benefit of the doubt to, given he's made 6 straight finals here at Wimbledon. The gap between them and the rest of the field was a significant delta to begin. That thought has just been so thoroughly reinforced with the way things have certainly played out through these first 3 days. So Norrie, Bellucci pulling off 2 more of our upsets. It is worth noting again, we've got 2 seeds still competing. Davidovich Fokina up 2-1, but 5-all in that 4th set when play was suspended. And then 25th seeded Felix Auger-Aliassime all square with Jan-Lennard Struff at 1 set apiece. Matches that went the distance on the day. You had 2 of them on the women's, 4 of them on the women's side. 2 seeds escaping with 3-set victories. Elisa Mertens back into another 3rd round. She earns a very impressive 6-7, 6-1, 6-2 victory over the rising American Ann Lee. Look, again, Mertens is just so sound. She had more legs. She was able to sustain her level in a way. Lee just kind of went away down the home stretch of that match, and it felt like it was because her legs gave out from underneath her. She just wasn't able to get to the ball early enough to sustain the pressure she was putting on Mertens in set number 1s, and Mertens always able to sustain that level. She gets a 3-set win. Linda Noskova, 3-set victory over Eva Lees, 6-2, 2-6, 6-3. Again, Noskova quietly into a 2nd round here. She's now sitting at a new career high, 3rd round, quietly sitting at a new career high 23 in the live rankings, and again, just racking up more major experience as she continues to consolidate her position near the top of the women's game. Those were your 2 seeds to advance in 3 sets. Of course, you had the Rakimova upset over Paolini in 3. And then how about Sierra? 6-7, 6-2, 6-1. Sierra was up big in that opening set on Katie Boulter. Boulter managed to flip that. Played really well. Just so boldly aggressive down the home stretch of that opening set. But her level was always off, and she just wasn't able to find any sort of rhythm, it felt like, throughout the course of this match. And again, that's a credit to Sierra, who stayed aggressive, who threw a lot of different outer third looks at Katie Boulter. 4 matches going the distance on the women's side today. Again, 2 seeds advancing. The 1 upset for Rakimova. Sierra through to her first 3rd round, I believe, at the majors as well. And now Sierra up to a new career high, 77, up 24 spots, is the 21-year-old Argentinian. Welcome to the top 100 to Sierra. Those were the big, again, matches going the distance on the women's side. On the men's side, Fritz, 5-set win over Diallo. Khachanov, 5-set win over the brilliant Shintaro Machizuki. And when Machizuki, because he keeps the ball so low and he's so crafty in getting forward. I think he came forward something like 56 times against Khachanov today, and his slice stays that. He's just so much more effective on this surface. The quicker the surface, the choppier the strike zones, the more brilliant the strikes he comes up with. So hopefully he can find a way to parlay this into some sort of hard court success this summer, because few players strike the ball and play the game style with the relentlessness of Machizuki. And then how about Jordan Thompson? He's been dealing with a bunch of different injuries. To some extent, has kind of felt like an afterthought. He gets another 5-set victory to advance to the 3rd round. You look for Jordan Thompson now with the win. He's going to stay inside the top 50, 41 in the world, and heading into a North American hardcourt summer where obviously we know he can be successful. It's massive, massive moment for the 31-year-old as he, again, returns from injury and still has a bunch of points to defend on his resume. 3 5-set matches on the day for the men. Again, we now have 18 5-set matches overall for the men, 25 so far matches going the distance for the women. Those were the big ones, upsets, matches that went the distance on the day. Of course, plenty of other results involving top seeds, and I promise as we get towards week number 2, we will spend more time talking about the top seeds, because obviously they become a bigger story as we continue to move down the home stretch of a major. You look on the women's side, it was not the best day at the office for Arina Sabalenka, just very limited on the return of serve. Nevertheless, 6-1. She gets through Boshkova. Much better for Maddie Keys, 4-2 win over the always tricky, the big striking lefty, Olga Danilovic. Anisimova, 4-3 over Zarazua. Svitolina, just quietly, another straight set victory at a major. Again, unless you have been a top contender, someone who goes on to win a title, it's been really hard to beat Svitolina this year. I think she's playing the best ball of her career. 14th seeded, but with this win, Svitolina sitting at 9th in the points race. She gets a straight set win to advance to another round 3 here at Wimbledon. Mentioned Raducanu in Osaka already. Sunny Kartal, your other winner on the day, 2-2. She knocks off Victoria Tomova. And then on the men's side, Alcaraz, straight sets, Rublev in 4. How about my guy, Nuno Borges? Nuno Borges with his big forehand backswing. No one would ever accuse Nuno of being the most fleet of foot. Guy's a tennis player, though. And again, he's become such a willing volleyer. Plays his slice, gets in forward behind it. Yeah, that forehand backswing, he has a little less time for it, but that bunt backhand, that much more effective on this surface. How about our guy Nuno into the third round of Wimbledon? Just keeps quietly racking up third rounds, fourth rounds at these major championships, and that's what allowed him to stay in the top 50 now for, 2 years consecutively. The 28-year-old sitting at 35 right now in the rankings. Nuno freaking Borges, man. Really impressive straight set victory for him today to knock off the home crowd's Billy Harris. Kamil Majchek, who obviously was out of the top 100 for a while. He gets a straight set win over Ethan Quinn. Nicolas Yari serving lights out today, 2-2 and 3 over Lerner Tien. I mentioned Fonseca. He was sound. He was solid. He had a little too much juice for the trickery of Jenson Brooksby. Did a really good job of capitalizing on a bunch of second serve looks that he got. Ultimately, Fonseca 6-4, 5-7, 6-2, 6-4. I mean, look, Fonseca had 17 breakpoint chances in this match. Brooksby had 13. Brooksby just makes you so uncomfortable, man, and he's going to find a backhand slingshot line. He's going to put the return of serve somewhere where you're not going to get a clean first strike at it with some sort of spin you're not expecting. He's a good volleyer even if it's the worst technique. It's that Medvedev model of volleying. Jenson Brooksby's back in the top 100. One of the biggest winners of this grass court season, of course, making a final, upsetting Griekspoor just to get to round number 2. Brooksby back up to number 95 in the live rankings. Obviously, summer North American hard courts should be his best surface, a guy who's already won a clay court title and made a grass court final this year. Feels like we're starting to get the best version of Jenson Brooksby now that he can finally play consecutive tennis healthily. And that's a really good thing, given obviously how great it was to see his start and everything he has dealt with since. Still, that's a really sound win for João Fonseca, who becomes the youngest player, I think it was since Bjorn Borg. No. It was the youngest player since Andy Roddick, excuse me. It was Alcaraz has a record that is like fastest to 30 wins quicker. 30 consecutive wins faster than at the major, or something faster than Bjorn Borg. I know for a fact for João Fonseca, he's the youngest man to reach third round, both Roland Garros and Wimbledon in the same summer since Andy Roddick back in 2000. So, yeah, the Fonseca comparisons continue. And then how about the veteran, Adrian Mannarino? You put that man on grass courts, he's going to be one of the 50 best players in the world always. The 37-year-old threw to another Wimbledon third round, up 21 spots, back up to 102 in the live rankings. Yeah, Mannarino, 4 sets victory over Royer, obviously a big benefit to the Tsitsipas upset, but when we have all had him as the favorite over Tsitsipas anyways, Mannarino 4-set winner over Royer, and again, your other matches remaining, Davidovich-Fokina up 2-1, Darderi up 2-11 on Ferry, Rinderknecht up 2-1 on Garin, and Felix Struff all square through 2 sets, of course. That's everything. Those are all the results, just to provide further clarity for all of you locked in on the women's side for the Americans. Keys, Anisimova, each advancing. Ann Lee, Ashlyn Kruger, each knocked off. 2-2 overall on the day for the American women. They are 13-10 overall so far through this event. You got 7 more American women competing tomorrow: Navarro, Kennan, Collins, McNally, Dolehide, Baptiste, and Volleynets. On the men's side, 1-4 day overall was tricky. Obviously, the great win for Fritz in 5 sets. Tiafoe upset. Quinn, Tien, Brooksby all knocked out. That Quinn and Tien both faced unseeded opponents, and that neither was able to capture a set. Obviously, that's a little disappointing. Both are so young, still getting their grass legs under them, taking on 2 late 20s vets. But you would have loved to have seen them grab a set. Brooksby, he had a good showing. 4 sets against Fonseca, what was a very competitive match. Toughest day for the American men thus far still. American men 11-10 overall. You got 5 more guys competing tomorrow in Shelton. Paul, Nakashima, who of course finished up his round 1 victory today. Opelka and Giron, each in action as well. And then on the college side of things, only one women's college tennis player in action. Disappointing loss, no doubt, for Diana Schneider, who gets knocked out again in straight sets by Dion Perry. Schneider currently sitting at 15th in the live rankings, but also currently she's 19th in the points race. Has the floor fallen out from underneath her? Not really. Like it's not as glitzy and glamorous as it was last season. But I think for Diana Schneider, I said this before the year, I didn't expect her to take a leap forward. For me, an A grade season is her consolidating her ranking. And at that age, 21 years old, staying in the top 20 and doing that 2 seasons consecutively at her age, to me, that's the litmus test. This is a tough result, no doubt about it. And a match given the lefty into a one-handed backhand. You feel like structurally, even on this surface, you'd always have an advantage. But this is a surface particularly well-suited to Perry's attacking tennis. Yes, it's a little disappointing loss for Schneider. I'm not selling any of my Diana Schneider stock. College women 4-6 overall. Navarro, Collins, Stardom-Seva, all in action tomorrow. And then on the men's side, certainly this was the biggest struggle for the college men so far. 2-5-1 overall. Now, none of the men competing were seeded, so perhaps you expected some of these struggles. The big win by Nori, obviously Nuno Borges' win. Alcaraz beat Tarvit. Tarvit acquainted himself well, no harm in that loss. Fritz beats Diallo in 5. Diallo was right there with the number 5 seed. Like, Diallo you're feeling great about still. Already mentioned Quinn, Tien, Brooksby, all guys with college ties. And then Arthur Ferry down 2-0. Can he just find a way to make things competitive tomorrow? Still, the college men 18-16-1 overall. And you got 8 more college guys competing tomorrow. Shelton, Nakashima, Rinderknecht, Giron, Hijikata, Holmgren, Pennington Jones, and Alex Vukic. Speaking of tomorrow, that, of course, is where I want to wrap tonight's show. 5 favorite matches ahead for both the men and the women. Certainly number 1 on my list, it's tough to say. There are a bunch of funky matchups given all the funkiness we've seen unfold. Heart or head, Alex? Heart or head? Go with the heart. My heart says my favorite matchup tomorrow is Grigor Dimitrov versus Corentin Moutet. Moutet was so good, of course, in the month lead up on the grass courts. He beat Taylor Fritz the only guy to beat Taylor Fritz on grass courts so far this season. Fritz, of course, already picking up 2 titles. Followed it up the following week as well. How healthy is Grigor Dimitrov? We're going to find out as Moutet throws all the chips, all the drop shots, the underhand serves, the lobs. The thing is, if you invite Grigor Dimitrov forward, he will happily accept it. So fleet of foot, even on this surface. The footwork so efficient, which is the thing Moutet tries to expose to make sloppy, to just have you break your confidence. You're never going to break Dimitrov's spirit moving forward. That's who he is. His identity is built to capitalize, but the leftiness, the angles, I'm fascinated for that matchup. That's my favorite on the day of all 10 of the matchups I want to talk about here quickly. On the women's side, if this was 2022, like Rybakina versus Sakkari would be the marquee matchup. What can Maria Sakkari do? You look for Maria Sakkari right now. She is currently sitting at 86 in the live rankings. This is a chance for a marquee moment to begin what could be one of the comeback stories of the second half of the season if things break right for her. Obviously, for Rybakina, she was my most intriguing women's player coming into the event. She has beaten everyone she is supposed to beat this season. She does not have a marquee victory. This wouldn't be a marquee victory, but this would get you closer. And certainly her, Swiatek are the clear-cut favorites in the bottom half of that draw now. Goff's out. Pegula's out. Can't get tripped up here by Maria Sakkari, but still very much looking forward to that one. The hipster in me is all about Haley Baptiste versus Victoria Mboko. Massive opportunity for both of those players. If you haven't checked out the young Canadian yet, where have you been? I feel like most of you will know who Haley Baptiste is at this point. Clara Tauson versus Anna Kalinskaya. Both of them believe they should be competing in third rounds and further. It's a big opportunity for Tauson to get there. Navarro versus Veronika Kudermetova. Again, if it was 2022, Kudermetova, that match would be higher up on this list. How about Swiatek versus Katie McNally? McNally's obviously dealt with so many different injuries. Her attacking downhill tennis, her big serve, her willingness and eagerness to get forward the backhand slice, it should work best on this surface. Another good test for Iga Swiatek early. On the men's side, obviously Dimitrov, Moutet, but how about Draper versus Cilic, former Wimbledon finalist, taking on the new British hope? I bet that match is on center court. Another good litmus test to see how Draper handles. You go from Sebi Baez to Marin Cilic. Fun contrast in round 1 to round 2 opponents. Great litmus test for Jakub Menchik. Are his weapons ready for the physicality Marcos Giron imposes? 3 out of 5 sets anywhere. The discipline he imposes. That's a fun one. I think Brandon Nakashima's on upset alert, not because I'm against his form, but I just think Riley Opelka there's an urgency. Like, this is his chance to make a top 50 push. The draw has opened up so wide for everyone given all the upsets. Fascinating to see Opelka, Nakashima take on one another. And then, look, Cobolli's really smooth, really fluid. Can Jack Pennington-Jones be consistent enough with his weapons? Because he will have chances to be the aggressor against Flavio Cobolli on the grass courts tomorrow. This is the best surface for Pennington-Jones to earn a win like this, and he has always been a primetime performer. All right, all right, we'll throw it on. I am very appreciative to Jack Pennington-Jones, who I got to know very well throughout the course of his college tennis career, and said with love, sometimes players, they get very busy on the professional circuit and texts become less responded to. Jack Pennington-Jones, immediate response to my congratulatory text. That's always going to be my guy. I think PJ can pull off the upset tomorrow. I really do. I just think he will look to be the aggressor. He will like the opportunities Cobolli presents him. He's not going to be disrupted by slice, drop shot, the impressive speed. He's going to have the chance to dictate in front of a home crowd. I think he's going to be feeling it. I think Pennington-Jones pulls off the upset tomorrow. It's my sneaky fun match of the day, but certainly, again, it's going to be a fantastic day 4, and I'm looking forward to getting back here. I might shave the beard tomorrow for day number 4's action as we wrap up that second round, get ready for the turn. Certainly, it has been an exciting Wimbledon Championships thus far, and the action only going to continue to increase in drama as we continue to move forward. Of course, we will do our best to be back here live on our Cracked Rackets YouTube channel, recapping each and every day of the action throughout this fortnight. The easiest way you can ensure you don't miss out on any of it, hit that subscribe button on our Cracked Rackets YouTube channel. Of course, you can subscribe to the Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, get the updates whenever we go live. A shout out, as always, to the tireless efforts of our super producer, Daniel Westoff, for the job he does in making that possible day in, day out. Of course, a thank you as well to the support we get from our friends at the Laurel Spring School. Remember, to learn more about why they remain amongst the top private online schooling options in the country, go to laurelsprings.com today. With that said, that's day 3. We'll see you on day 4 for our fantastic super producer Daniel Westoff, our friends at the Laurel Spring School, and all of us here at both Cracked Rackets and the Believe Podcast Network. I'm your host, Alex Gruskin. You know what we say. That's the break. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.